Microsoft SQL Server, learning SQL servers, the beginning of the beginning and end of end. Our ultimate goal to know how SQL Server function. Today topic is we have a database in SQL Server and we need to capture the database growth. We will explore how many possible ways we can achieve this. Hi everyone, I am Vikrant Sharma, SQL Server trainer and learner. I will be share some possible scenarios how we can capture the database growth in case we did not configure any script over the SQL Server to capture the MDFI, LDFI growth on the daily basis. By default, auto growth is set to grow 10% on an existing file size in SQL Server database. It might be suitable for small businesses, but for the large uh, databases, we would require to reset this setting. So with the when we will try to capture the database growth, we will capture the data file auto grow event. As we know, SQL Server expands the size of the database, data file, log files, based on the auto growth setting of an individual file to avoid space issue in the existing transaction. So, with the help of this, if there is a first of all, we will would start from uh, to check the configuration in the sys with the help of sys.configuration. Is the default trace is enabled or not? The default trace is enabled, then it will be good for us. We can execute the query and the configuration ID is 1568. Name is default trace enabled. The value is 1. It means the database within the SQL Server default trace is enabled. Value in use is also 1. So default trace is enabled. If default trace is enabled, we with the first possible way to check the database growth history, right click on the specified database, go to the reports, go to the standard reports, click on the disk uses, probably at the top of the first top one report, that is the disk user report. Click on this, wait for some time, that report will be created and there are some data will be available for the total space reserved, data file space reserved, transaction log space reserved. That is one thing. But we are interesting to see this data log file auto grow auto shrink events. So this is the event occurred recently with it specified a time how much time it has taken when the event occurred. The database file size changes in size. First time it changes 1 MB, again 1 MB, 1 MB, 1 MB, 1 MB changes. So you notice that there is a difference in time. Every time when the M1 MB changing, there is a difference in time. So sometimes it's taken 3 seconds, sometimes it's took 4 seconds, even it took 50 seconds as well. So first we understand what is the 1 MB. 1 MB means 1 MB means there is the initial size of the database. Right click on database, go to the properties, files. There is the initial size of the database. Okay, so initial size when the database needs expand, it is increased by 1 MB every time. So when it is increasing, this is the change auto growth for check database. It's a we are seeing the check data rows primary. So with data file growth we are checking here. We can set the database file limit also with the help of this limited to some size or unlimited as per the disk space available over the size. So this is the one case we can get the data. Similarly, the database for the log file also set. Here I have set 1 MB for both MDF file and LDF file because I wanted to see that uh, event trigger event with the limited data. So that's why every time when the database needs expansion, when I try to expand the data, 1 MB is event is triggered. So date time is coming with the help of date time in a particular day, how many times this event occurred. We can calculate the total change in size. The total size is 111. 3 times 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Almost 21 MB increased in a day. Okay, so on the 20, it's showing that it is 21 MB increased from its previous size. So this is the one way we can capture the database growth. Second way is that there is a query. There is a query. Uh, this is the uh, if the database trace default trace is not enabled, with the help of this, we can enable the database trace. With the help of this query, I will share the comment and query also on comment the source of query and query as well within the box. Uh, you can get the query from there. So this is the query. We can capture uh, capture the information into our with the help of uh, query. The database the database is sorry database auto growth can be captured. So on the same data we can capture with the help of query. Host name, login name, who expand the data, under which login it was expanded. Change in size 1 MB, 1 MB, 1 MB. Start time and time when the event is occurred, when it was, and how much time it had taken. All everything we have captured. The required information we can capture. So these are the two possible ways we can capture the database auto growth. But these are not the least options. There are other options also. With the help of profiler, we can also capture a database growth, auto grow event. And I'm leaving some option at your side also. You find out, research something on this topic further. So it will be helpful to you to understand how the auto growth event occurred in the database. I give you one more idea. You will be amazed to see this. This topic is interlinked with another skill set also. Another skill set, database, data, and log file growth history that we have seen. SQL Server default trace. What is the SQL Server default trace? How many under the default trace? How many events we can capture? That is very interesting to learn about this one. Third point is database capacity planning. So you have the database growth, and you know that daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis, whatever the data you want to capture or you want to make a baseline, you can analyze the database capacity planning for next 6 months, next 3 months, for 1 year, based on the businesses, right? And the transactions or type of business, you can database capacity planning. is the one way. This is not a total database capacitive learning, but with this way you can, it is a part of the database capacitive learning, and you can determine how much space is required for next 3 months or next 6 months. Fourth point, that is also linked with the database SQL Server, that is SQL Server performance. SQL Server, you have seen when the data grow event was occurred, it taking some time, 3 second, 4 second, 10 second, 50 second. So when the transaction is happened and database needs expand, that time it holds the transaction. SQL Server holds the transaction. It said stop. First, I will expand the file, then the data can be inserted. So the time frame, that time when the transaction was on hold and file is busy, SQL Server is busy to expand the file, sometimes 3 seconds, sometimes 4 seconds, sometimes 10 seconds, sometimes 50 seconds. That affects the performance. So if frequent data data grow event will be happen, every time your transaction will be slow. Okay. So instant file initialization. So you know that when the file is zeroing in the file option, so when the file expands, zeroing option is also there. So instant file initialization is also you would require to learn when the performance hits, when the database agrees, when the file is created, when the data file is created, and what is the process of creation of the database file, and the link between the instant file initialization. I will be explaining these topics with the continuation of this topic, and in the coming video I will be explaining all the topics. But I just giving a heads up about this one, how these topics are interlinked with this art, the query that we only wanted to find the database, uh, auto growth, history, historical data we wanted to capture. The last point that also is I can say that the interlinked with this topic, that is the fragmentation. Fragmentation further having two parts, the internal fragmentation, external fragmentation. So in coming session, I will be explaining all the skills as discussed in here. So the next skill that I will be discussed, that is a default trace. So, so it will be very interesting to learn that how the one topic is interlinked with the other, and how this would be the starting point for new user who wanted to learn the SQL Server. They can start from this point. When they will be they starting creating a database, and the factors affecting while creating a database, and performance issue also they can get to know about this with this one. And they can also they also can the logical partition about the database file, and how the database will be work, database files manage, and how the we can plan the capacity. So every default trace, what kind of event occurred, this type of, so this is a good topic uh, to start learning the SQL Server. So that is for today, that is all we need to know about the how we can capture the database uh, autogrow history. I hope you have find it good, and thank you very much and good day. Before closing this session, I just urge to everyone: learning sessions are like stories remembered and later forgotten. To attain knowledge, we need to discipline our mind. That can be found in various ways. Thank you very much and good day.